List M6. Narrow. We say narrow. We think to spell n, a, o. Because this A and R are next to each other, and we would be tempted to think that it's R, what we will do is we will put a 1 on top of the A to remember that it's a. For the OW, we need to underline it, and since it's ow, O, the second sound, O, we put a 2. Extra. We think to spell e, x, t, a. Because A makes the sound, it's the third sound, and we put in 3 on top. Great. We think to spell g, a, t. Because this E at A says A, we put a 3 on top. Middle. We think to spell m, I, d, ul. Now the E is here because every English syllable must have a vowel, and that is the 4th silent final E rule. Past. We think to spell p, a, s, t. It's important to remember that this is past like the opposite of future. It sounds like the word past, like I just passed by your house, but it is a different word. Past like the opposite of future. Wire. We think to spell wa, I, and in this word, I says I because of the E. Team. We think to spell t, e, m, and we underline the E at A. Those. We think to spell th, o, z. Because the th is the second sound, we write a 2. O says O because of the E, and because the S says Z, we put a 2. Few. We think to spell f, U. Since U is the second sound, we put a 2 over u. Living. We think to spell ul, I, v, I, ng. We underline the ng. And it's important to remember that the reason why, even though this is a word like live, silent final E words like live lose the need for the E when you add a vowel suffix. Finger. We think to spell f, I, n, g, as in her. Make sure you remember in finger, don't forget the n. If you don't have an n, it becomes figure, not a finger. Chance. We think to spell ch, a, n, s. We underline the ch, and we underline the silent final E, and the E is there so that the C will say s, and this is rule 3. The C says s because of the E. Heart. We say heart, but we think to spell it a little different. We think to spell E, R, T. So we need to underline the E because it says its name, it's at the end of a syllable. We also underline the R. So remember, we say heart, but we think to spell he, art. Phrase. We think to spell f, a, z. we underline the two-letter f, and A says A because of the E, and since the S says Z, it's its second sound. Case, we think to spell K, A, S, and A says A because of the E. Chick, we think to spell Ch, I, K, and we underline the Ch and the two-letter K. Remembered with the two-letter K, it may only be used after a single vowel that says a, I, a, or and since we have an I and it says I, we can use it. Event, we think to spell E, V, E, N, T. And E says E because it's at the end of a syllable. In fact, it is the syllable. Collar. This is collar like the collar of your shirt or your coat. We think to spell K, A, ul, R. So we will underline the R. Railroad. We think to spell A, ul, O, D. So we underline the two-letter A that we may not use at the end of English words, and the two-letter O that we may not use at the end of English words. Railroad is a compound word that means a road laid with rails. Member, we think to spell M, E, M, B, as in her. So we underline the as in her. Make sure that when you write this word, since it's M, has 3 humps. And remember, this is as well. It's not member, it's B,